Good evening, y'all. This is Spencer Keck coming at you live with the Hillbilly Think Tank from here in Hardin County, Kentucky, where we live for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Y'all, there's nothing more honorable for me than to be able to serve my neighbors and to love my neighbors as myself. That's why I joined the military when I was 18. I've been serving ever since. When I retired after 20 some years, I was in from 1990 to 2014 after retirement. Went to work for the VA. Then I went to work for a little bit for Homeland Security. Back to the VA once President 45 decided he was going to furlough us all when we worked for immigration. So instead of being furloughed, went back to work for the VA. Then I said, you know what? I want to go back to my home state. So I came back to Kentucky, became a public school teacher, did the Troops to Teacher program. I've been loving it. Just, man, what a way. It's another way for me to serve. But I also, now that I'm back, want to serve even more. And that's why I'm running for magistrate here in District 3 of Hardin County. Now, that being said, this is a tough time for all of us because we've lost now 2 honorably serving military folks from this Bourbon region. We know we lost Sergeant Pennington in Glendale. And right on the heels of that, we've lost a native of Bardstown, Kentucky. So we lost Tech Sergeant Ashley B. Pruitt. She was a 34-year-old from Bardstown. She was apparently on the refueling aircraft, one of those, the KC-135 refueling tankers that went down when they lost 6 folks recently on that. And so she was assistant flight chief and a KC-35 instructor and boom operator. Now, y'all, that is, man, that's a lot to come from central Kentucky here in the Bourbon region, all one close to another. I do not envy the families, and I just feel for them so much now, Gold Star families. I've shared how I lost my brother, one of my brothers, lost his leg and hand in Afghanistan. And just yesterday marked the anniversary of the day that my dad found him hanging in his closet 5 years after surviving that brutal destruction of his body. Well, and then I had to go bury my dad the next year because I had to go to the VA and allow them to pull the plug on him after he had cancer the second time from Agent Orange. So, y'all, we need to know what plan it is that our government officials have for this operation. They're saying it's not a war, it's an operation. It's just a excursion, according to Captain Bone Spurs. We were told the first part was going to be over a week or two. Yeah, now it's stretching out. We cannot have any more casualties. And is there anyone out there in, oh man, is my headphone working? Don't think it is. I'll be right back. Working now. All right. Thank goodness. Thanks for letting me know, guys. All right. So it looks like there is no plan. And as we said in the military, if you've got no plan, then you have a plan. It's a plan to fail. So it's obvious there was no plan for turning over Iran to someone with, well, I guess our interests at heart, since that's the only reason we're really doing this. When I say our interests, of course, that means who? Is it the billionaires that own the oil companies? Is it those of us who don't want to die from terrorist attacks? It's never been told to us for real. Just, we're going to do it. And I'd like to know what the real plan is. What is our plan to get in? And when will we know when we've actually achieved the mission and the mission is over and we can bring everyone home? That's what we've got to know. But let's just look a little bit at what plans they have for us right now. What have they admitted to when it comes to the plans they do or don't have? Let's see what Captain Petey Kegsbreath has to tell us.
Just absolutely defiant. We've planned everything. We're, just doing things by the book. He's like, everything's going as we anticipated. We've not been caught off guard whatsoever. He has this thing where he adds adverbs to his speech to make it sound like important. So he's like, he throws in like sequentially and lethality. And he's just like, if he just throws enough adverbs at you, you're going to be wooed over. But then he had this moment where he was talking about the Strait. And it was honestly one of the most, I don't want to say ridiculous because I use that word a lot, but it was dumbfounding. It's a 7-second clip, but I want to play it.
It's so a lot of build-up for this 7-second clip.
Okay, it's a really good clip, though. Let's play it.
The only thing prohibiting transit in the Straits right now is Iran shooting at shipping. It is open for transit should Iran not do that.
Who could have known? Yeah.
Yeah, it's open if they just stop shooting. So it's not open. I mean, what are we doing here? Jeez.
A friend of mine was telling me a story about Billy from his first grade class or whatever it was, and about how there would be snowball fights in the first grade class, and you could tell the teacher to like put your name on a list if you didn't want snowballs thrown at you. And Billy's name was on the list.
Okay.
But Billy did not understand that when you throw snowballs at other people, that means that you're like effectively no longer on the list and people get to throw snowballs back at you. And he was like, I think Billy is now our president. He did not understand, this president did not understand that if you, dump bombs on the Iranian regime is likely to respond in some way. And the best tool that they have at their disposal is essentially holding the global economy hostage by blocking all of these tankers and other commercial vessels that are trying to get through the Strait of Hormuz. So this is totally obvious to pretty much anyone.
So Hegseth was asked about this morning. He was just absolutely defiant. We've planned everything.
All right, y'all. So it's, again, obvious there's no plan. Obvious they don't understand even the culture of that region. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But to get a further glimpse into the complete lack of planning, I'd like you to look at what Captain Bone Spurs has to say about the Strait of Hormuz. This is really telling to me and extremely important. So let's check this out. Many countries, especially those who are affected by Iran's attempted closure of the Hormuz Strait, will be sending warships in conjunction with the United States of America to keep the straits open and safe. We have already destroyed 100% of Iran's military capability. That's a fucking lie. For it's easy for them to send a drone or two, drop a mine, or deliver a close-range missile somewhere along or in this waterway, no matter how badly defeated they are. Hopefully, China, everybody see that? Hopefully, China, France, Japan, South Korea, the United Kingdom, and others that are affected by this artificial constraint, will send ships to the area so that the Hormuz Strait will no longer be a threat by a nation that has been totally decapitated. Well, really? Really? Is that really it? Now, I am an English language arts teacher, among the many things I'm certified to teach. Boy, I would really like to take Donnie back to class again. Number one, teach him what to capitalize, what to not capitalize, how to not write a run-on fucking sentence, because every single tweet that guy sends out is now in the Library of Congress for everyone to read forever. Yeah, I guess it will be necessary for people to look and see how absolutely fucking stupid he is. But John, let's see what you have to say, Jonathan, before I move on. It's almost like having a bunch of TV personalities in charge of the DOD and the rest of the country was a bad idea. Exactly. So, China, he said. He expects China to go in there, rescue what? The Straits of Hormuz? Or to take over the Straits of Hormuz along with the United States? China, who we've got what type of tariffs on? We've been in a trade war. Does he honestly fucking think that a world power that we've been in a trade war now with for what, a year? This term, not even to mention the last time he was in office, does he really think that that country that we're in a trade war with, the country that's not buying our soybeans, the country that's not buying quite a few of our products that they used to buy and that our farmers relied on, we think now they're going to help us with our economy? He really thinks that they're going to put their ships at risk? They're going to send their Navy over there to get shot at by Iran? Does he really think that so? Or could it just be maybe China will go through and they won't shoot it? Iran won't shoot at them because China didn't start this shit. And I'm sure China is one of the countries that Iran is willfully going to sell oil to anyway. Man, we have no fucking clue in the office. No, they have no fucking clue. Tom says, I remember being taught to diagram sentences when I was in grade school. It taught me to build sentences that made sense instead of spewing word salad. Or now he's deteriorating to a syllable salad. Yeah. Not just that. So, all right. He's an idiot. He's shown us he's an idiot. He's also showing us right there he has no plan. Why the fuck even would France help us with the tariff war that we've been putting on the European Union? The United Kingdom, just the other day, they asked us, hey, do you guys need some help? We can help you. We said, no, we've got it. That's what J.D. Vance said. We don't need your help. Now, just a few days later, we're begging for United Kingdom's help. Come on, y'all. Is this what you voted for? Did you vote for this type of no plan when it comes to combat? We were told, number one, we weren't even going to go to war. That was the biggest thing. There will be no war under this president. We won't start any new wars. No more endless wars. All right. Well, there's quite a few things they don't know about that region, obviously. Number one, when we went in to Iraq, the ruling party in Iraq, the Ba'ath Party, that's who Saddam Hussein was in charge of, they were Sunni Muslims. They were a minority in that country. Only about 1/3, maybe, of the country was Sunni. And the other part of the country was Shia Muslims. Sunni Muslims and Shia Muslims have been fighting each other for thousands of years. They have not seen eye to eye since Allah died, and they started fighting over who was the next rightful heir of that faith. So we got rid of the Sunnis there. And of course, the Sunnis are what Saudi Arabia is. Saudi Arabia is a Sunni majority country. So we kicked out the folks that the majority of the region, follows that style of Islam. And we set up and put in power the Shia Muslims. The Shia Muslims are the same Muslims that we now just killed their leader. That's just like going in and killing the Pope. And if the Pope was actually not just a religious leader, but was also a political leader. That's what it was when we killed their leader recently. So we've got Shias in Iraq. We propped them up, gave them power in Iraq, which then made it possible for Iran to come in and influence and help out the Shias in Iraq. So Iran and Iraq, they've now been basically allies ever since we kicked out Saddam Hussein. You know how dangerous it is for us to have our planes going down in Iraq? We're going down there. These tankers that went down in Shia country. Now the Shias are together even stronger again. So we've got that to contend with if we start a ground war. There'll be plenty of Shias in Iraq willing to come over and help their brothers and sisters in Iran, their neighbors. So now we've got that to deal with. We've got the fact that the Strait of Hormuz is a very tight spot to get ships through. It's dangerous. We've got a very short coastline in Iran. The rest of Iran, the rest of Persia, is very treacherous mountain range. That's why there's only one person in the whole history of this universe that has been able to take over Persia, and that was Alexander the Great. So Alexander the Great, since then, no one's taken over Persia. Persia is very, very tough to take over. But we've got the Fox News broadcaster, Whiskey Pete Kegsbreath. He thinks he knows it all. He acts as elite as the Ivy League folks that he puts down all the time, even though he is an Ivy League grad himself. So he thinks that with his limited knowledge that he garnered as a captain in the National Guard, that he's got the wherewithal and the knowledge of how to not plan a war, because there is no planning going on here. There is no end goal. There is no telling the voters what it is that we're doing in the first place. Haven't even bothered to give us a lie like they did with the yellow cake uranium lie they gave us when they got us to go into Iraq. I do expect, like I said yesterday, a false flag attack at any day in order for them to drum up support for this unplanned war. So they've got a Marine Expeditionary Unit. The 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit is on its way right now to the Persian Gulf. That's 2,200. Maybe they're even reinforced with more to be 2,500 Marines, sailors ready to set up, go in, boots on the ground. And yet, that terrain, those mountains are impenetrable. They were also talking about a country that is much more highly developed than Iraq ever was. So, a highly developed country with natural protection. These mountains provide them a refuge. We have to make it through the mountains while they're shelling us, while they're sending drones and missiles onto us. This is not a joke. So, what is their plan? Are they planning on actually dropping a nuclear bomb on this impenetrable country? Is that what they're going to try to lead us up to? All of you who voted for them saying, "Oh, I'm voting for Captain Bone Spurs because I don't want a nuclear war." Well, there's no way to overtake Iran with just boots on the ground. Their country is impenetrable. So let's see what stupidity, because I won't put anything past these guys now. We see, our great crusader, Captain Bone Spurs, thinks that he's going to get China to somehow just agree to go put their ships at risk in the Strait of Hormuz because, they must feel the crunch of this economy on the oil so bad. Surely they'll go fight for it. Really? Number one, I think they're allied with Persia. I doubt that they'll have any problems getting the oil if they want it. I'm sure Persia won't shoot at their ally. And why would France go in there and do it? They were just attacked recently and lost some lives, and they weren't even engaging in combat. So, yeah. I say all this because we have lost 2 Kentucky lives. A life from right here in Hardin County and for our neighbor over in Bardstown. And yet we have no clearly defined goals. We cannot sacrifice any more Kentuckians for this. We cannot sacrifice any more U.S. citizens for this crap. So, it's time. We've got midterms right around the corner here in Kentucky. We know North Carolina already had theirs. They know now who it is that they've got in North Carolina that's going to fight against this regime. They know they've had plenty of folks there who've been backing up Captain Bone Spurs with everything he does, everything he says. Well, we need to put a stop to that. Vote those people out. Here in Kentucky, we know we have people in Congress and in the Senate who've been backing up Captain Bone Spurs at every turn, have said no to nothing. Hasn't been one thing that they pushed back on. It's time to put people in office that will push back. Make sure when you go to that primary, and it's time to do the primary votes, that you're electing folks who are not going to be yes men to this Captain Bone Spurs and to Whiskey Pete Keg's breath. It's time. The writing is on the wall. You can cover your eyes no longer. Our sons and daughters are dying for what? We need to know. We need to know what the real plan is. We need to know what the end goal is. And we need to see that no more American lives are sacrificed in a war where they have no clue. We propped up the Shia Muslims in Iraq. That strengthened Iran, and there's no way of turning that back. We didn't do what we could have done in Iran and set up an egalitarian society where the Sunnis and the Shias had to live together and allow each other to vote together and empower each other together and to defend their country together. No, we were there. We set up a civil war while we were there. All we did was build more animosity. And now we think that we're going to go in there and that what, Iraq's going to be our ally? That's not going to happen. We think Afghanistan's going to be our ally. That's the other neighbor of Iran. That's not going to happen. The Taliban hate us still. And we left them with $1 trillion worth of weaponry and gear we just left behind when we abandoned the place. So, yeah, this is not going to go well if we keep at it with no plan. So, y'all, as I've said before, I wasn't born a fortunate son. I doubt most of us listening to me were born fortunate sons. You know, but I do know that we know how to tell shit from Shinola. So just open your eyes. And remember, right? We're just blessed to be living in a county and a state where we believe that united we stand, divided we fall. We love our neighbors as ourselves because we don't want anyone pitting us one against the other. And we're going to have to build a community that has a strong vision for this county's future, this state's future, this nation's future. And right now, they're not fighting for us regular folks. When the president says we are making a lot of money off of the high price of oil, I don't know which we he's talking about, but I'm not in that we. And the folks that are letting their kids die in this, I hope they didn't vote for it. But we have time now to turn it around. Just a little bit of time, we can turn it around with the next election. Or we can go and just keep on sacrificing more and more and more of our sons and daughters. For what? All right, y'all. So, as I close, remember, we are our brother's keeper. We are our sister's keeper. Bless your corazon. Remember, everyone deployed overseas. Thanks, y'all, for listening. Sorry for the first recording when you couldn't hear what I was saying. Hopefully, you tuned back in. Hope I didn't lose too many of you. Have a great rest of the night.